Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. Oop, turn the sound off on the laptop. How you all doing? Can you see Peter Venkman there? That American Kid, how you doing? Kieran Ball. I saw earlier in the chat we've got George Aitken with us. Alan Dawson's here. Patton, Michael Schaefer, hello, how you going? G.I. Joe Espanol, hello, how are you? Cool, we've got a few people in the house. And I've got a nice cappuccino. I was up very early this morning, a lot earlier than my alarm, so I actually had time to go down to the local coffee van and get a nice coffee. So no particular topic today, guys. A completely random smattering of toys on the table. I just wanted to do an open Q&A. Apologies I didn't do this live stream on Friday night, which seems a bit more of a popular time slot. But obviously when I do the streams Friday night for you guys, it's Saturday morning for me, and I've actually got commitment Saturday. So I did it a day early, but I had to do a stream this weekend because we've got a lot of mail to open. So Anthony Whitehead, I'm doing great, brother. How are you? Retro Lane, how you going? Danny Dukes, hi from the UK, hi from Australia. So yeah, guys, there's no particular topic. It's an open Q&A. Ask me anything you like. For those of you who know that I've been having issues on and off with the live stream freezing up recently, is because I've been trying to do it in HD and I've pretty much just given up, and I've gone back to my iPhone because it's an old faithful. I know it works. The only issue is it streams in 720p, but it streams perfectly all the way through, so I don't have to get distracted. Matt Ludi says, hey Tony, I loved the fishing video the other day. Thank you very much. I thought I'd just do something a little bit different. I've often wanted to make a fishing video, but normally when I go fishing up here, I've got family visiting from Perth, and normally I'm the one driving the boat, hooking up everyone's rigs on their fishing lines because they don't know how to do it, and baiting up everyone's hooks, and I get too busy. And last weekend I had the opportunity to go out fishing with a friend, and he was driving the boat, and I was like, yeah, I'll just I'll make a bit of a video. Originally it was going to be for them, and then it was going to be a Patreon exclusive, and then I just decided, nah, just put it on the channel for everyone. So Kieran, thanks very much, says the picture quality is great. John Baldry, Tony, do I fish competitively? No, I don't. We do have a few fishing competitions up here, and I have entered them in the past, but I'm not that much of a fisherman. I just fish for a bit of fun, and it's always nice to have fresh fish and chips on a Sunday. So that fishing video, that was Saturday afternoon that I went out, and then Sunday lunchtime, as me and my wife and a friend of mine were watching the UFC, we had fish and chips and some beautiful crab, so it was good. Chris Miwa says, good night from the Netherlands, everyone. Chris, I've got a parcel here from the Netherlands that I've been waiting a very, very long time for. I hope I'm not going to get this wrong. There should be something really, really special in this package. But the last time I opened a box on the stream and I thought I was going to open up Triclops, it actually turned out to be a parts of the G.I. Joe headquarters, and I made myself look a bit of an idiot. So we'll see what happens. No, George, it's not the first part of the USSS flag. I am not purchasing a flag at this stage. Gojatron, how you doing? Love the Ron Burgundy. Thank you very much. I picked that up at a toy show in Perth earlier in the year. It's got a price sticker on the back here. I've only just noticed that. It says $59.95. I actually got that for $15, and you may have seen that. I did a video of my trip to that particular toy fair. But that comment was from Gojatron, and I've actually got a mystery box here. Well, not a mystery box, actually. I think I've got an idea what's in it. But I've got a donation box here from Gojatron, so we'll open that a little bit later on. Alan Dawson, no, the Anchorman figure does not have a scale bottle of Sex Panther, but he does have his orange robe, and I really want to make a video about this figure. It's one of those video ideas that I've had since I got the toy back in January. So what's that? 6 months now, and as all this other stuff keeps coming up. Gaz, thank you very much for the super chat. Hello, Tony. What is your favourite sci-fi series of all time? Are you talking TV, movie? Wow, that's a tough choice. I don't class Star Wars as sci-fi. It's science fantasy. It's not sci-fi. My favourite series. Wow. I'm potentially gonna go. I'm not a huge sci-fi fan. I'm more of a science fantasy fan. But I think science fiction, man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know if this really fits the bill, but I have really enjoyed the last few reboots of the Planet of the Apes series. So. Was it like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? Right, I thought those movies were fantastic. But I think if we go back in the day, I do particularly like the Alien franchise. So I hope that's a good answer to the question. I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. I was always more growing up more of a war film guy, action movie guy. I liked a lot of fantasy stuff. Timothy Ward, nice to see you. Scuba Pete. But yeah, I did like Buck Rogers. I really like Battlestar Galactica actually. When I was a kid, and I did also like the reboot of that TV show. I don't think I watched the entire thing. I got through several seasons of it, but I often do that with modern TV shows. I start watching something on Netflix, and I might get like 8-9 episodes in, and then switch off. But right now, George Aitken has been trying to get me for ages to watch The Boys, and the reason I hadn't done it for so long is because I've got a Netflix subscription, I've got a UFC Fight Pass subscription, I've got a Stan subscription. I don't have a Disney subscription. I signed up to a 7-day free trial, watched The Mandalorian, and then cancelled the subscription. But yeah, I think a week or two ago, I signed up to Amazon Prime or Prime Video, whatever it's called, and took George's advice to start watching The Boys. I'm only about 4 episodes in because I haven't had a lot of time to watch, but I am absolutely loving that TV show. That was a fantastic recommendation, George. I watched like half an episode last night, but I had to go to bed because I had a live stream early this morning. Retro Blasting in the house. Good to see you, Michael. When in doubt about answering that question, the correct answer is always Robot Chocks. Yeah. Patton says, did I watch Doctor Who? Yeah, I watched Doctor Who when I was young in the UK. I watched a lot of the Tom Baker stuff. And also, I can't remember it. Davison. Someone tell me his full name. Davison. That was the one that was airing really when I was watching it, but I would watch reruns of Tom Baker. Matt Ludi, nice to see you. Who was your favourite companion and why is it Tegan? Now, I actually think my favourite companion was... I'm really going to show my lack of Doctor Who knowledge here. Was it Ace? The girl with the baseball bat? That was always my favourite. Yes, Scuba Pete, George Aitken does have good taste. While I'm waiting for another question to pop up, I might just talk through a few of the toys I've got on the table here. So this is pretty much the extent of my Ghostbusters collection. This figure's in really nice condition. It popped up on eBay a while ago. I've always wanted to start collecting Kenner Ghostbusters, and I've literally only got round to this one figure. It was for a pretty decent price, and I didn't stop too long to look at it. You know, the stream was intact, the paint was in good condition. You know, the logo on the shoulder looks really nice. So I made a very quick purchase on eBay, and then after I got it, I was like, damn, he doesn't have his mini Ghost with him. He's incomplete. So that was a bit frustrating. Thanks, Danny. Yeah, I thought it was. Ace was the companion with the baseball bat. Peter Davison, that's it. Peter Davison. I grew up with him and Sylvester McCoy, but my favourite Doctor is definitely Tom Baker. John Pertwee is my Doctor, best dress, and who... John Pertwee was also in a classic British TV show called Wurzel Gummidge. And I absolutely loved that show when I was a kid. If anyone remembers Wurzel Gummidge, it was about a scarecrow that came to life and could change his heads and stuff. Great TV show. Retro Blasting is saying that with the Ghostbusters, the mini ghosts are not really difficult. It's the Proton Stream, and I think when I saw this for $45 or whatever it was with an intact Proton Stream and good paint, like this toy's unplayed with, I just hit that buy it now button. So I've got a long way to go when it comes to collecting Kenner Ghostbusters. Oops, got some cat hair flying around in here. Yeah, George, I'm sure you remember Wurzel. I love Wurzel Gummidge. I actually had a toy of Wurzel Gummidge, which was this. The body was it was 12-inch size, but the body was like a bendable frame, a bit like an Evel Knievel figure, but with a foam skin rather than a vinyl skin. But then he had 3 interchangeable heads that you popped on and off, and some clothing. And I'd love to reacquire that toy. Actually, I'm going to go on eBay after this and see if I can pick myself up a Wurzel Gummidge figure. George Aitken, Action Force, the biggest thing they did was a cardboard playset the same size as the Death Star. Yeah, that's the first series headquarters, something that I am yet to acquire. I've got the Z-Force Command Center, as some of you will probably know by now. I'm really looking forward to the Z-Force video, and I think I said last weekend that Q-Force was coming this week. It's been slightly delayed because I started writing a script for another video, which I'll be recording straight after this live stream. I'll be recording all the narration for that video, and I actually reckon I'm going to get the whole video completed today. I don't think the editing's going to take me too long because I don't have to shoot a lot of B-roll for it. And it is... So about 8 months ago, I made 2 videos about repro toys and the state of the Star Wars collecting community with regard to repro toys, and due to some recent events, I've decided to make a third part and kind of make my own retro trilogy saga. And because it's because this video is related to some recent events, I've put a pause on Q-Force to get this video done and get it out as quickly as I can. But I've got a free schedule all weekend, so Q-Force will still get done this weekend as well. I think this this retro Star Wars toy video will be that's Friday for me. All the filming and editing, and I reckon I'll have it done by tonight, if not early in the morning, and then Saturday and Sunday for Q-Force. So that American kid, Tony, do you still continue to collect Action Man? I don't get rid of any of my Action Man stuff, but I've got such an extensive collection. There's not much out there that still interests me. There are a lot of the pieces that I would like to acquire are very large. Like I would like to get the Electronic Command Center, the German armoured car. Due to the size of them and the fact that they're not really available in Australia, I don't buy them because they're so big that if I purchase one from the UK for $300, I'd probably pay $300 in postage, and I end up paying double the price for what the toy's worth. So I will still pick up Action Man stuff now and again if it's something that interests me and I see it for a good deal. Vintage Toy Rush, do you get a lot of heat for your repro viewpoint? I get a little bit of heat, not a lot, because the anti-Repro Star Wars community, as much as they believe that they're the majority and they are the governing force of this hobby, they're completely wrong. If you go back and look at my other 2 videos about the topic and look at the likes versus dislikes, which I know some people will say that those sort of stats are a bit skewed because potentially the anti-repro crowd don't watch my video, but actually they're the first people to start commenting. So they clearly watch it. Yeah, I get a little bit of heat, but I don't really care. I'm trying to make a stand against the whole idea that a portion of a collecting community can try and enforce their collecting ideology onto everyone else within that community, and that is just wrong. So yeah. Aaron Campbell says that my repro videos have been very interesting. Looking forward to the 3rd part. You're very welcome. Bob B, most of my vintage Kenneth figures have repro accessories. I've got a mixture. I have a lot of original vintage stuff, a lot of original vintage accessories, and then I've got a few figures with repro accessories. It doesn't bother me. Kieran Ball, how much do you think an Action Man capture copter should be? Kieran, I really appreciate your question. I really don't like to give valuations. I am not... If you had have asked me 10 years ago, I was very, very up to speed with the prices of Action Man stuff because I haven't been actively collecting much Action Man for a number of years now. You know, the odd piece here and there. I don't keep up to speed with prices, and I don't ever want to steer anyone in the wrong direction. I get a lot of questions around this, people asking me for valuations. Did I get this for a good price? What should I sell this for? And that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about our passion for vintage toys and our passion for the properties that they're based on. I've really not wanted to make this about the monetary side of toy collecting because that's not why I do it. I actually wish that the toys I wanted to get were really cheap and nobody else wanted them, and I could just pick them up for $1 at a car boot sale or something. So appreciate your question, but yeah, I don't give valuations because I would probably give you the incorrect information. Retroblasting says, if you want to actually make money on toys, just collect Lego and Lego only. That's a very good point because modern Lego still holds its value. Yeah. But otherwise, collecting toys for investment is foolish, and I completely agree. This is a really nice coffee. So some of the other toys I have on the table here. Guys, I'm not collecting Black Series, honestly. I had a conversation with Michael at Retroblasting recently and said, look, all I want to do is collect a few of the core characters from The Empire Strikes Back, and I really wanted Lando. What I'm trying to do is, because you would have seen in that other video, I've got, they call him Bespin Luke. To me, it's just Empire Strikes Back Luke, but because I've got that particular Luke and Yoda, I was like, right, I want to make a small little Dagobah set. So I picked up the Dagobah R2-D2, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And then I want to get the Bespin set. So I've gone out and I've acquired the Bespin Escape Leia, which is a lovely figure. I've got the Han already. I've now got Lando, and I believe a supporter of the channel is sending me the Chewbacca C-3PO 2-pack from Amazon. Yeah, so when I had the conversation with Michael about Lando, he said, oh, there's 2 different versions. And he showed me some photos, and it was that the first edition actually looks better. And I was really, really pleased with this figure when it arrived. I thought this figure looked fantastic. And I'm very happy to have acquired that. The Dagobah R2-D2 just arrived in the post yesterday. And this is a really, really cool figure. I was amazed at the amount of play value they've picked up here. So When I first got it, let me see if you can hear that. When you turn the dome of R2-D2 clockwise, it clicks just like the vintage original toy. Then I was trying to understand why when you turn it anti-clockwise, it doesn't make a sound. Well, that's because when you turn it anti-clockwise, it extends his third leg, which is just really cool. It's actually got little wheels in it. You can wheel him around. I just love that. And then it's got all these opening panels with little tools inside. You can remove a few of the little blue caps here and put his sensor scope in. I was really, really impressed with this. It turned up in the post yesterday, and I must have spent an hour studying the play value, all the play features in this figure. It's really, really cool. Keith Holmesley, good to see you, my man. Retroblasting, the newest Lando doesn't look anything like Billy D despite the computer scanned head or whatever. Yeah, I really like this one. I'm satisfied with this. I don't need to get another Lando. This is cool. Dave Song, Resolute 123. You're not too late to the party, my man. We've only been going for 20 minutes. We'll be probably going for over an hour today. So you're not too late. You haven't missed too much. Michael Herring, do you have the entire collection of Mego superheroes? No, I don't. There's a lot of Mego superheroes I don't have. I'm really trying to complete all of the Batman stuff. I will never get a removable mask Robin. Prices on that are just ridiculous. I'm happy with the painted on mask. But the main characters I need from Batman are actually the female characters, so Catwoman and Batgirl. I'm not sure which other ones I need from Batman, but then I want to get the Bat-Cycle with Sidecar. I'd like to get the Batcave, the Batcopter. I will never acquire the Wayne Foundation Tower. Too expensive and I have no room for it. I actually don't think it's that great. It had a lot of play features, but like as a display piece, it's sort of relatively bland. It's just a massive 70s style Barbie house for Mego. But then with the Marvel characters, there's a lot of Marvel superheroes from the Mego line that I don't have as well. That American Kid, I would like to do a video about Mego's Fighting Yank, but I don't own one, and it's very hard for me to make videos about toys that I don't have. So, Michael Herring, the female characters are the most rare. Yeah, I think Catwoman's probably a little bit easier to acquire than Batgirl, but Batgirl is a really, really cool figure. I would like to acquire that one. So this question's from David. Did Action Man make any other emergency vehicles other than the police motorcycle and the fire truck? No, they didn't. If you watch my Action Man documentary, I think it's in part 3 of that documentary, there were plans to make a police helicopter. The Action Man helicopter, which is the same as the G.I. Joe helicopter, the mold for that was reused so many times with different attachments. I've got a couple of variations of it, but there are a ton more. I don't have the capture copter, but I've got the SAS variation. I've got the assault copter variation. You've got the basic helicopter, and yeah, a man called Brian Turner, who was originally the display manager at Palitoy, then went on to toy design, who I will talk about actually in the Q-Force video, because he was the designer of the Q-Force Sea Lion, which is a fantastic toy. Yeah, he designed a prototype for an Action Man police helicopter, I'm assuming to go with the police motorbike, but it never made it into full production. But there are some images of his original prototype in part 3 of my Action Man documentary, so look that up on the channel. Mego, Batman and Robin were my very first action figures, says Bobby L. Collins. That's cool. My very first action figures were the two guys in this Fisher-Price Aero Marine Search Team set. I've talked about this set a number of times. I really wanted to reacquire it, but I've never sort of actively sought it out. This is the first toy that I ever remember owning. And when I started looking around on eBay very recently, I don't know why I hadn't done it before, I was like, actually, these don't go for a very expensive price. They're difficult to get. Fisher-Price toys were really sturdy and difficult for kids to break. The one thing with this particular set, though, is this clear plastic dome on the submarine. This often cracks. So I was very pleased to pick up one with the dome completely intact. It's got the grabbing claw feature at the front. And the really cool thing with this setup is the helicopter's got a hook underneath with this sort of with this frame where it can actually carry the submarine out into the ocean, drop it wherever it wants to drop it, and then once the submarine picks up the treasure chest in the cage, can carry it away. Just a cool toy. Like when I was young, maybe this is how my parents sort of got me to have baths and whatever, because just remember, this was the #1 bath time toy. And yeah, I acquired it recently, and I told the patrons that I was going to make a video about this toy. And then I decided there was one other particular Fisher-Price toy that I remember having. I may have had more, but this set, and there was one other Fisher-Price set that I really remember. And I managed to find that on eBay as well. So I've decided to wait for that second toy to arrive before making a video about Fisher-Price Adventure People. So Resolute123 says, did I get Wet and Wild filming the Q-Force video? Yes, I did. Last Friday morning, was it? I think it was last Friday morning. I went down to 4 Mile Creek, which is where I filmed the fishing video the following day. But I went down really early in the morning because I wanted to go at high tide. At high tide, the water moves around too much. But also I wanted to find a shady spot to film in. And when I was taking a lot of the shots of like the swordfish floating around in the water, I was above knee deep in the water. And although the outside temperature wasn't too cold, the water was pretty cold. And I was in the water for probably an hour and a half filming all the shots I needed. So yes, I did get Wet and Wild filming some shots for the Q-Force video. Scuba Pete, thank you very much for the super chat. For awesome bath time toys, you know I love that set. I'm sure you do, Pete. I'm sure you do. This is actually a Scuba Pete action figure with his breathing apparatus on and everything. I love that toy. Alan Dawson says he's hoped there are no salties around that area. I'm assuming you mean saltwater crocodiles. Yes, there are up here, but they tend to live in much deeper waters. So I'm pretty comfortable going in the water here when I can still see, the what do you call it? The bottom of the creek. You know, if I can clearly see the sand and I can see what's swimming there, I'm comfortable. I will not go in the water up here when it starts getting a little bit deeper and you actually can't see what's down below. There are sharks up here. There's not a lot of crocodiles where I live. They tend to be a little bit further north, but yes, we do have some crocodiles around here. Patton's asking if I played with Lego. Yeah, I did play with Lego. I remember getting really into Technic Lego when I was probably like 8, 9, 10. I was quite into Technic Lego, but even when I was younger, I had some of the space Lego sets, but I was not huge into Lego. I did enjoy it. Often I would use Lego to build little bases for my Action Force figures to work in with. Bobby Collins says, I'm pretty sure I had that scuba diver. He was my proxy for Captain America with the pocket superhero toys. Yeah, cool. I can see how that would work. If you didn't have the Captain America Pocket Heroes figure, you could use this guy. Kieran Ball, 20 years ago I found a mint-in-box Fisher-Price Marine set in an old toy shop. It was covered in dust and I haggled a £10 price. That's good. I gave it to my young nephew for him to enjoy bath time. Yeah, really cool toy. The thing with Fisher-Price Adventure people, they're not that, as I'm quickly learning on eBay, they're not that hard to find. They don't go for massive prices. But to try and get any of this stuff boxed, that's a different story. Lego Technic was my favourite. There was a car with working gearbox and diff. Yeah, I think I may have had that same one if it was around the late 80s. Resolute 123. This is a really interesting question. Any challenges with collecting vintage toys that were intended for water use? Yes. So with Action Man and G.I. Joe, the Frogman sets were intended for water use, and it wasn't the water that makes them difficult to collect now. It's the fact that they were made out of the same type of rubber as dishwashing gloves, which was never intended to last a 40-50 year period. It perishes and rots away, and I've made a number of videos about Action Man scuba diving suits. I'm sure there are others, but that's what springs to mind for me at the moment. Matt Ludi says the octopus is bringing back a lot of great memories. Yeah, and I was very surprised with this, with the type of plastic this is made from, that this hasn't rotted and deteriorated, but this is actually in great condition, and the octopus brings back a lot of good memories for me as well. I was very pleased to get this set complete and in nice condition, and yes, there will be a video coming, in the next month or two. I'm just going to wait for that other piece to arrive and get all these other videos made that I've got to get made. So, George Aitken says the swordfish from Action Force has a rubber stopper in the rubber ring, which is often missing. Yes, I think the one from mine's missing, but we can figure something out there. That American Kid says, is there a way to preserve the Action Man scuba suit, the original one from 1966? People have a lot of theories. Unfortunately, I've never really found one that works. Some people say regularly putting silicone spray on it works. The only thing that I've actually got one that is intact. I've got an Action Man Eagle-Eyed Frogman in the original box. The box was sealed when I got it. I actually purchased it from Bob Breakin. The box was sealed, but over time the tape has actually dry rotted and fallen off the flap, so technically it's not sealed anymore. So I've opened it up, and that scuba suit is in pristine condition. But I believe that's because it's just stayed in the box its entire life and no one's ever touched it, so I don't display that figure, it just stays in the box. Which is a shame. I don't get to look at the figure, but at least I know it's in there in the box. Retroblasting says you can preserve it by modifying a DeLorean or a police box. Go back in time, steal an original 60s one, and bring it back to 2020. Yeah. Kieran Ball, any battery-operated water toy has obvious problems, as do all toys that actually include batteries. Yes. And for Action Man and G.I. Joe as well, for like the Underwater Explorer, they made a small sled for him, like a handheld sled that had a small battery-powered motor inside it, and yeah, they did not hold up very well to use in water. All right. 33 minutes. We're not ready for boxes yet, are we? No, we're not ready yet. I've got 3 boxes down here. One is something that I bought for myself. One is from Gojitron that I mentioned earlier. And the other one is from a fan of the channel called John Baldry, who reached out to me on Facebook. And I have no idea what's in that box. Absolutely no idea. So Gary's Action Man channel is talking about the Seawolf. Yeah, I have a not pretty nice condition Seawolf. I've got the box. The box isn't great condition. It's got all the stars and stuff cut out, but Rich Hawkins, how you doing? He says he just finished work and almost forgot about the live stream. Well, you've joined at a good time, Rich, because we haven't got to the boxes yet. So always the fun part of any live stream, I think, is opening the boxes. And I'm going to have to get up extra early it's going to be Sunday morning my time. I'm going to have to set an alarm for like 3 a.m. because there's a parcel from myself and George Aitken that this week arrived at Retroblasting headquarters. And as you know, they do a live stream at 2 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, which is 2 a.m. Sunday morning for me. But I'll probably jump in at around the 1 hour mark at 3 a.m. Because I want to see Michael open that box. Retroblasting is thanking George for the box that we sent. And are you still trying to figure out a topic for your live stream, Michael? I did suggest to Michael last week, because I really enjoyed the fact that Tim Whitten, they finally got him sort of onto the panel. I really enjoyed Tim being on there. I think he's a great personality. I loved listening to him talk about Star Trek, and I think that Tim and Michael should do a live stream where they just debate Star Wars movies. Maybe even debate the merits of Attack of the Clones or something like that. I think that would be a really, really cool live stream. It would be a lot of fun. Gary's Action Man channel, do you have any of the new Origin Motu figures? No, I don't. I do not intend to collect those. I'm just collecting vintage Motu. Timothy Ward, there's a list of topics that we made. I'm sure there's a lot of topics you can cover. And I only decided very recently to do this live stream. I was probably not going to do one until next weekend, but because the boxes are here and I couldn't wait to open them, I was like, hey, let's do a live stream early. And to hell with the topic, let's just have a Q&A and a chat. So So Retroblasting's moderator, who also happens to be my moderator, Tim Ward, talking about the list of topics that Retroblasting have for their live stream, and Michael isn't aware of the list. That's funny. George Aitken says, don't do a Star Wars live stream, especially if you have weapons lying about. Yeah. You and Tim could potentially just have a lightsaber duel in the Retroblasting archive. That'd be pretty fun. Do I collect Big Jim Wolfpack figures and vehicles? No, I don't. I don't collect any Big Jim. I do really want to make a video about Big Jim, and I have a very close friend and fellow collector down in Perth who doesn't have a huge Big Jim collection, but he's got a real quality Big Jim collection. Unfortunately, not the Wolfpack stuff, but then I'm not going to say the next time I go to Perth, because I say that every time I go to Perth, and I'm going to basically film and photograph his collection. But at some stage, I will eventually either go to his place and film the video there, or borrow some pieces from his collection, and I will make a Big Jim video at one stage. But I don't collect Big Jim myself. Michael's saying, we're all a big family of channels here. I'm proud to be the grumpy uncle of this family. I don't think you're the grumpy uncle. You just say it like it is. But I do agree that, yeah, we are a big family of channels here, and the family's growing. I just added Salvador. I added him as a friend on my personal Facebook page yesterday. Through Retroblasting, I've started watching 2 Cents Toys. I highly recommend that channel as well, especially if you like Star Wars Black Series stuff. He does some great reviews of that. Yeah, the family of toy channels is growing, ever so slowly, but we're getting there step by step. Bobby L. Collins says, how about Action Jackson? I've got one Action Jackson figure in the box, and that's it. I think I've got a few carded outfits laying around somewhere, but I don't have a huge Action Jackson collection. Yes. Retro blasting, he would totally shoot the lightsaber wielder. Yeah, just pull a hand shot first moment. Yes, that's right, Kieran Ball. Big Jim can be difficult to collect because they suffer from brittle plastic and the body melting because of the type of vinyl that was used, particularly for the arms. Rick Aslop, do I have more Funko Pops than Michael does? I don't have any Funko Pops, but that's not to say that there aren't Funko Pops in this house. So I would need to know how many Michael has before we can compare numbers. But my son has a number of Funko Pops, which displeases me greatly. You know, I'm not angry, son. I'm just disappointed that you have. But that was a phase he went through, which he's, thank God, has grown out of. He does not collect Funko Pops anymore. Rick, try saying my last name again. Sorry, Rick Alsop. What did I say last time? Aslop. Dude, it's 6:40 a.m. in the morning and I haven't finished my coffee, so I apologise to anyone who, if I've mispronounced your name, some of these names can be quite difficult to pronounce. Actually, then there's another patron of the channel who often comments. I don't think I've seen him in here today, but you always see him on the Retro Blasting live streams as well. And I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, and I don't think the guys at Retro Blasting either. But Scott, it's either Knudsen or Knudsen. I don't know. But it seems like every time Retro Blasting mentions his name, you know, when they're reading out a comment, sometimes it's Scott Knudsen, sometimes it's Scott Knudsen. I don't know. That's right, George. We would never send Michael Funko Pops. Unless he needed fuel for his fire in the winter, maybe. Rich Hawkins. Did I call him Rick Astley? Did I? Okay. Guys, I'm dying to get these boxes open. Maybe we'll just do the first one. Maybe I need to move some of this stuff out of the way. Lando, get over there. R2D2. I don't want this to fall over and break the wine. Oh, actually, I've got something to show you guys down here before I get to the boxes. I picked up a NECA Halloween 2 figure the other day. Very random, I know. But I went into, we've got like a local like gift store here, which is not normally known for having toys in there. And I saw this in there for a decent price. There was a few others. I think there was a couple of figures from the It movie as well. Pretty cool figure. Can you see that? Okay. Yeah, so it's got a Michael Myers there. That's better. So it's got the Michael Myers figure with some different hands, some accessories, some masks. And the reason I picked this up is last year I did a Halloween special video. It was the first time I'd ever done one, but it's a tradition I would like to continue. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to make a video just reviewing this figure as the Halloween special. A Halloween special's got to be a bit more than that. And then I had this crazy idea that I'm sure a lot of people who know about the Halloween movies know that when they made the first one, the mask was actually a Star Trek Captain Kirk mask that they painted. So I've got this weird idea to get a Mego Captain Kirk figure and this guy and film a kind of skit. So, but obviously that's not going to come till Halloween. So I thought I'd show you guys that. Picking up a random modern toy. Shatner Kunsu, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he owned the rights to his own Halloween mask. I don't know. Vintage Toy Rush. I suppose I am planning. I'm not planning the Christmas special yet. I am planning the Halloween one. I was in this shop for a totally different reason. As I said, they're not normally known for selling toys, but they had a couple of random NECA figures. There was this, and there was two different variations of Pennywise. I think one was from like the '80s version, one from the recent version. And as soon as I saw that, it just hit me. I was like, oh, that. As I said, I'm not just going to pick that figure up and review one figure for a Halloween special. A Halloween special needs to be a bit more than that. But yeah, I had this wacky idea about the Shatner mask, so we'll see how it goes. Gary's Action Man channel says, any Action Man videos coming up? Nothing really on the production schedule as such, but there will always be Action Man content on this channel. Yeah, there will be Action Man content on this channel. Maybe I should think of something. I think once you make a very comprehensive feature-length documentary like I have for the story of Action Man, that's why I get a little bit reluctant to return to the topic, because I've covered so much of it already. But it's such a vast toy line. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't talked about. It's maybe looking at Action Man from a different perspective than just sort of a documentary style, talking about the history of the toy's development. Maybe I can look at it from a different angle, which I do with some videos. So we'll see how we go. Never say never. Actually, that's a good idea, George Aitken. He's saying to do a Desert Rat Action Man review. I potentially think if I was going to do that, it would be all of the Africa stuff, so the Long Range Desert Group, with the Africa Corps and my custom Africa Corps officer and the motorbike and sidecar. That would be a pretty cool video, actually. I might do something with that. Kevin Kelly is asking Gary's Action Man channel if he's still putting up content. I can answer that. Yes, he is. He's still doing Action Man content. George Aitken, then the SAS team. George, I've done a number of videos about the SAS team outside of the documentary, and I even included some of the 12-inch stuff in the Action Force SAS episode as well. So, Keith Holmesley, thank you very much. He's saying that he's putting together a mystery box for me as we speak, but no telling when it's going to get there. Yeah, Scuba Pete's also sending me something, and Scuba Pete, he sent this ages ago, man. Like 6 weeks ago, and the tracking has really fouled us on this. It said that it got to New York and it was awaiting international departure for like 6 weeks. We never got a notification to say that, it had departed the States, and then out of the blue, a couple of days ago, boom, it had arrived in Perth. So I'm sure that will be in next week. And if that's the case, then there'll probably be a live stream next weekend, because I've got to open Scuba's box. Richie's Wheels, what Action Man figure is the one that you're still on the hunt for, if any? Off the top of my head, there aren't any... Oh, yes. From the Ceremonial series, I need the number 3 Dress Marine. That's about the only Action Man figure that I'm kind of on the hunt for. But I'm not actively hunting. It'll just turn up at some stage. When you run a YouTube channel like this, it really changes your collecting habits, if that's the right word. Or what I tend to do now, I'm always trying to acquire toys that I need for certain videos. So I'm not really anymore completing parts of my collection. I'm collecting toys for videos. So. The Soviet Idiot. That's an interesting name. I see your Fisher-Price Rescue People collection is coming on nicely. Yeah, this is the Fisher-Price Aero Marine Search Team set. All good, Alan Dawson. All good. I did a live stream a while back about the Action Man ceremonials, and Alan Dawson pointed out afterwards that, like, where was the Marine? He might have mentioned it in the stream, and I got confused thinking he was talking about the G.I. Joe Marine. And then we were speaking afterwards, and I was like, oh no, the number 3 Marine. And it confused me because I had that figure for a long time, but it was a 40th anniversary reproduction of the outfit, which I decided to sell off for some reason because I didn't want a 40th outfit in that part of the collection, but then never got around to acquiring the original. So David, have they ever done any Action Man figures of real people similar to G.I. Joe's figures of MacArthur and Patton? I don't believe that. They certainly didn't back in the day, and the ones you're referring to were not vintage Joes. They were, because I don't consider 90s stuff vintage anymore, though some people probably do by now. But in the vintage era, they didn't make any figures of real people, no. The closest Action Man ever came was they made a few James Bond figures, but they didn't look like the actors. It was still just Action Man, which they came out in the 90s. A few of which I've been looking to reacquire, because I had them in the 90s for a while. Because I'd like to make a James Bond video. That's probably the best way I can make a James Bond video, is to get the Action Man ones. The GoldenEye figure in particular, I think is pretty good. The outfit's pretty cool. Where did the Ron Burgundy come from? Is that Rich is asking. I picked this up at a toy show back in January, and I actually made a video about that. If you go back through the channel, through our video catalogue, you'll see that I made a video back in January where I went to the Nexus Toy Fair, and I picked this up for $15. It's really cool. He actually talks. He says a number of different phrases from the first movie. Excuse me, I'm burping. I will make a video about that at some stage. Do I have any other Sideshow collectible figures other than the Cobra Commander? No, and the only reason I've got the Cobra Commander is on that same trip to Perth, I found it in a comic shop for like $80 US, which is a bargain price. I'm not going to be forking out $300-400 for a lot of the Sideshow G.I. Joe figures. Gonzalo Facio, I think that is. What action figure collection would you like to have complete? Definitely at the moment, Action Force. I'm pretty much complete with the 83, 84 stuff. I'm potentially now going to go back in time to 82 and collect that stuff. So, alright, let's get some of this out of the way. We'll put him back in the submarine so he doesn't get knocked off the table. Alright, the first part, I'm going to turn the aircon off, it's cold in here. That's better. The first parcel, this is an item that I purchased for myself. Yeah, what's in the box? Ah, John Baldry, glad to see you here. I've got your box here, mate, we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, this is something that I've purchased for myself. It's come from the Netherlands. It was an eBay purchase. I've been waiting a long time for this to arrive. This took ages to get here. But the day has finally arrived. And I picked it up from the post box yesterday. So it's not as though this has been sitting in the house for a week waiting for me to open it. Some of the other stuff's been here a while though. Okay. Ah, here we go. I've got to try and cut this out now, very carefully. So cool. It is. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to keep the anticipation going for too long. It's Jammer, the very rare UK repaint of Stalker. You see it better there. So he's got the Z-Force logo on the chest, the red beret. He's painted in Z-Force camouflage pattern. This was an expensive purchase. This was not cheap. But I'm very pleased. This figure is in good condition. Nice tight joints. Yes, George, it is the last Z-Force figure that I need. All we need now is for the return of Gaucho from my good buddy Joseph, who's been restoring that figure. He sent me some update photos last week that just look amazing. I can't believe... I thought he was going to do a good job, but it has far exceeded my expectations. Yes, Gaz, this is awesome. This really is awesome. Like, the G.I. Joe Stalker is cool, but this one, with the red beret and the Z-Force logo on the chest, this is just next level. It got the original accessory. I'm very, very pleased for this. That's right, Michael Schaefer. Joseph's methods for restoring figures are absolutely amazing. Okay, now we get to the box from Gojitron, and I do really like that he's put his little avatar on the top of the box. That's really cool. No, Keith, no whiskey in the cup. I'm much more of a beer drinker anyway. I don't tend to drink much liquor these days. I used to when I was younger, but I just try and stick to beer these days. Okay, I've got a bit of an idea of what's in this box. This isn't exactly a mystery box. Gojitron is a patron of the channel, and he sent me a private message and we had a bit of a chat. I don't know if he's expecting this parcel to turn into a video, but it's probably going to. Okay, we have a letter here. Hey Tony, hope this letter finds you and your family well. Yes we are, thanks very much. As a kid from the 70s and 80s, I really love the content on your channel, especially your love of Mego, which was my childhood favourite. It's great to see the toys I know so well from a different perspective, and great to learn about toys that I never knew about, like Action Man. Even though we are continents apart, we can connect through a shared love of toys. That's right, that's what I love about this channel. As promised, here, okay, I'm not going to read the last bit because he's saying what's in the box. Thank you very much, Gojitron. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Need a bit of room here. Okay, we have the Empire Strikes Back Retro Collection. Awesome, man. Thank you very much, Gojitron. How am I going to keep these on the table? Let's get the Fisher Price out of the way. So that's Princess Leia in the Hoth outfit. We have Boba Fett. Always difficult to get a decent Boba Fett. Awesome, man. That looks remarkably like the original figure. Remarkably. These will be more than likely coming off the card when I make a video about them. My number one favourite Star Wars figure. We've got Bespin Luke Skywalker. Let's just catch up with some comments here. Well, now I have Tony's box up. I remember when they made Tarkin exclusive to that set, or did they re-release him on his own? No, they did Tarkin with the board game, unfortunately, but I was lucky enough to have that donated to the channel sometime last year as well. So, apologies, Keith. Which were the two figures you were going to send me? What, Luke and Boba, or because there's more in here? I think Gojatron has sent me the entire set. This is the figure that I really wanted. Snowspeeder Luke. And one of the reasons I know what's in here and this didn't become a mystery box is when Gojatron spoke to me. He wanted to tell me what he wanted to send, because to pack this in with the board game was going to cost extra money for shipping. And he had a gut feeling that I would not be interested in the board game. And I said, you're damn right, I don't want the board game. So once we agreed on that, he took this out of the board game and just sent me the carded figure, which is nice. I'm really looking forward to reviewing this. Kieran Ball, doesn't Michael need that Bespin Luke figure? I don't think Michael needs any more Bespin Lukes. So we've got Yoda here. Very nice looking Yoda. Now, from the first series of retro figures, I've only got the Tarkin. I didn't collect the others. And I'm kind of glad I didn't. After I watched Retro Blasting's video, which showed, you know, the issues with them holding their accessories and stuff, I'm sort of glad I didn't go down that road. But Retro Blasting also did a video on this set recently, and these seem to be quite an improvement. So I am looking forward to getting these out and reviewing them at some stage. So we have Hoth Han Solo there. Immediately, I'm going to say that the paint on the face doesn't look quite right. But maybe that's just compared to the one I've got. There is vintage Star Wars figures were made in so many different factories. There are so many different variations. Maybe it just doesn't look right because it doesn't match mine. But it's not to say it doesn't match some of the other variations of the vintage figure. And finally, we have Lando, who looks really cool. This is a very nice set of figures and a very, very generous donation to the channel there, Gojatron. Thank you very, very much. You will get a video out of this, I promise you. This is such a generous donation, I can't not return in kind and make a video. So I don't know when, but I'd like to do it soon. Got 2 other videos to get out of the way first. Get the stickers off as soon as you can. I did a video last year on how to remove the sticker from the Tarkin. I'm potentially not going to remove these stickers. I'm not going to waste my time. My time is precious, because I really feel like I just want to get these figures out and display the loose ones. If I was going to display them carded, I would definitely get rid of the stickers. But if anyone wants to know how to remove them, as I said, there's a video on the channel from last year that I showed you how to do it on the Tarkin card back. I love this community, guys. I really do love this community. You guys are fantastic. I never intended when I set out this channel, you know, to do it to get free stuff, but some of your guys' donations are so generous. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it takes me aback sometimes. Thanks, Tim. Tim has just dropped a link to that video in the live chat there. So for anyone who wants to see that. Vintage Toy Rush says, anyone with Tron in their name, like Gojatron, has to be on the good side. Amazing donation. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Okay, now we get to the last box, and this is from John Baldry. And this is quite a heavy box. This is a genuine mystery box. I've got no idea what's in this one. Let's get it open. If I can. Yes, there's even more. A very simple note that just says, Tony, enjoy from John, USA. Thank you very much. Okay. To help start your 1984 Motu line. I think this is a Motu box. Cool. This is cool. Thank you, John. We have Leech. Very nice condition figure too. Look at that. Is that his accessory? I didn't know that Leech came with an accessory. I'm certainly going to have to do some research before I make my collector's guide to 1984. John says here, hopefully you don't have this one for your 83 line. I thought I had everything from 83. John, no, I don't have this figure, John. But I believe this is a 1984 figure. Anyway, it's Mechanic. Awesome, man. And John, this is a really nice condition figure with the accessory. Dude, how cool is this? Mechanic. Thank you, John. Whoops. That didn't go well, did it? Stand up. There we go. Something else from the 1984 line. Man, I think someone wants me to make a collector's guide to Motu 1984. So John Kenny says he thinks that this is Grislaw's accessory, but then Nudes 80 says, I think all the Horde figures came with crossbows. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Mantenna. Very nice. Again, he's got the accessory. These are some great condition figures, John. This is when we started getting some really wacky play features in the Motu line. Awesome. Yes, Kieran, it was in good condition before I dropped it, but he didn't fall very far, man. It's just, it's okay. No way! So this is a toy I already have, and John's put a very simple sticker on here that says upgrade. No way. Whoa. This is one of the most beautiful loose Panthers I have ever seen. Look at the colours on that guy. You would have seen in my Collector's Guide to Masters of the Universe 1983 that one of mine had some patches of the flocking missing. This guy is beautiful. Not a single spot of flocking missing. This is a high quality toy. Wow, John. I'm blown away, man. I'm going to take a photo after this and compare this with mine, because even though I don't have the two of them here, I can tell looking at this, the colours in this are so much more vibrant. The one I have is quite well played with, and this is a mint toy. Chris Seavey, I didn't have a lot of Motu when I was a kid, but this is making me want to go collect them. Yeah. So that Mantenna doesn't fall over, he's gonna ride Panther. Awesome! What a great way to start the day. I've got a long desired piece from the Z-Force, a Holy Grail piece for me, an awesome collection of Empire Strikes Back Retro Collection figures, the full set no less, from Gojitron, and an awesome kind donation from John. So John, I was probably holding off on the Collector's Guide to 1984, but now that you've given me the kickstart, my man, I'm going to have to keep going and get that video made. So thank you all. Oh, and John's in the chat. He's saying you're very welcome, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. What an awesome day. I'm a happy man. John Kenny says, use Mantenna's hypnotic power to get them to make more retro toys. Did Mantenna have hypnotic powers? I'm not as much up to speed on the Master of the Universe mythology from the later lines. I was into it in the early years. So Carl Mello says that you can't find Boba here in the States. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm very pleased. And just from the very brief look I've had at these, Boba Fett really stands out as being a nice figure. Very close to the original. So, and actually pretty good timing as well, because I can potentially use some of these in my video later today about retro toys. So, repro Star Wars toys. So Gojitron, these figures are probably going to appear in 2 videos. I'm going to do a video dedicated just to these figures. And then some of them will appear in my unofficial third part to my Repro Toys saga. So, Resolute123 says, it's Christmas early in Australia. Yeah, this is like Christmas in July, my man. Rob Dropper says, hello from Pittsburgh, PA, Tony. Hello to you, Rob. And unfortunately, it's going to be hello and goodbye. I need to get going now. I've got some videos to produce. So thank you all for tuning in. This has been a really fun stream. I've really enjoyed this. I'm glad I've gone back to the old way of streaming with my phone, because I have no technical issues, which make it it enables me to be more focused in what's going on in the chat and engaging with you guys. So Bobby L. Collins says, great stream and have an exuberant day. Well, you too, my man. Thank you very much. The only thing with streaming through my phone is that I have to get up and walk around and turn the phone off. So you guys stay safe out there. Look forward to the Repro Toys video, which will hopefully drop on the Patreon later today, and then YouTube in 24 hours time. Take care and cheers. Oh, don't knock the table, Tony. Don't knock it. See you guys.